Hello and welcome to the first episode of the new series of Real People. So tonight we...
Wait a minute, I thought I was getting this gig.
Oh, sorry Paul, I forgot.
I forgot what you said. I got the email, you know. I'm good, you know, got a new shirt on and stuff. Anyway, so
welcome the new host of Real People.
Yes, well, thank you for asking me to do this. I'll try my best. And welcome to tonight's show, Real People. And the first guest is going to be Jim himself. I'm going to talk about various things you've been up to, if that's okay. Everybody, well, I certainly know you for doing your Freddie tribute, which you've done for nearly 20 years?
This is actually the 20th year, 2024, that I've been performing Freddie Mercury, so yeah, it's been a while.
I've seen you do it, and it's not an easy voice to do. I remember we talked about it, and you said like Bohemian Rhapsody and things are okay, but what are the tougher songs to do if you're doing Freddie?
People tend to think Bohemian is the hardest song, but it's actually not. It's quite easy to sing Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, I think
for you anyway.
However, for me, the harder songs are like Show Must Go On, which I tend to avoid.
Yes.
And another one, Bites the Dust, as well. I mean, even Freddie himself didn't go up to those notes. So I mean, I actually do that like Freddie live. I need to kind of come down the octave and sing it rather than.
Yeah. He did that quite a lot actually. But he was still great to watch.
He was. It was just a total showman, and he's
So
nobody will ever touch.
Next
Freddie,
time I come, I'm going to heckle and say I want the show must go on. Then no, but the other things you do, you're involved in community cinema. Is that right?
Yes.
You want to tell us a wee bit about that?
So we have and it's just like it's like small towns and local towns. They'll lose their cinemas. They'll lose all the things that people were used to having, and the Denny Civic Theatre was recently refurbished, and they've got a state-of-the-art sound and lighting system installed. They've also got a huge screen being installed that comes down in front of the stage. And I thought, I'm going to do something, try and do it for the local community, get a local cinema started. So I did that. We started up the Loch Lomond Film Club, and we got almost 1,000 subscribers in the space of a week. And we thought, this should take off because we're offering Dumbarton something that's not had since the Rialto closed down.
Yeah, and then Alexander the Strand.
Exactly.
And the Hall Cinema for the two I used to go to.
The Strand. I went to see Star Wars at the Strand as a kid.
I used to go to the matinees on Saturday mornings, and it's absolutely packed with kids. And we used to all, don't do this at home, folks. We used to all throw pennies at the screen when the baddies came on. Like Flash Gordon, we'd come on and you'd throw the pennies at the screen.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. But and I was thinking, looking back on it, I'm thinking the usherettes must have been quite a tidy wee tip for them at the end of the
the show. Quite a few pennies.
Anyway, back to now. So it's really just to give people an option to go to a local cinema again.
Yes. Yep. I'm not going to lie. It's been a hard sell. Now you would think. You know what it's like, people, we've lost this, we've lost that, we don't have this service anymore. As soon as you provide it, then we had 1,000 subscribers and had only sold 33 tickets with a week to go.
Ouch.
And I thought and again, we needed to sell 100 tickets to break even with the cost of the theatre. I'm
guessing you have to pay some to show the thing in the first place.
Yes, we've got the rights. So the rights, there's a minimum amount you need to pay for the rights. Right. So we would need 100 tickets to meet that, as well as the theatre costs and the cost of just running the thing. So
but you kind of got that eventually.
Yeah, we just managed to get that. It's disappointing. However, I'm hoping that it's just because it's the first one. Probably, I mean, it is a U certificate as well. It's it's tropes.
Well, there's a lot of people I know that don't know about it, so hopefully this will help a bit as well.
Hopefully, I think it'll make a huge difference if just once word gets out a bit more. So.
Yep. And of course, you've got a full band version of the Queen.
Yes.
Called Live Forever.
Live and Live Forever.
It's the same spelling, obviously.
Yeah, same spelling, but we did that on purpose because we're basically keeping Freddie live as well. So, and Live Forever is one of the iconic songs. Yeah. And we launched before the band, before lockdown, and of course lockdown put the brakes on everything, and we were just getting the momentum and ready to go to start rehearsing. So we did some remote rehearsing a bit during lockdown, and then as soon as the rehearsal studios were allowed to open again, we got right in the studio and get cracked onto it and get really stuck in. So you've, after lockdown, you've basically get stuck in, and you've now
Well, I know you've played the Hard Rock Cafe and places like that, but you've also
Yeah.
played a few bigger festivals.
We did the Rewind Festival in 2023, which I would say is the best thing I've ever done.
How many people were watching you there, do you think?
Oh, there was over 1,000.
Right.
The place was just packed, and you know, and actually at the Scotland, they left the headline act and came and saw us, and it was it was really something else, and the atmosphere in the place, it was phenomenal. It was
And the full band sounds great, so you get the energy from behind and the front.
yes, and the band just makes it. The musicians in the band are phenomenal. They're all phenomenal.
Yeah. And you've got this Loch Lomond TV starting again.
Yes.
And this is the first show, and we've got a chef on after.
Yeah, it was.
Yourself.
And a wee bit before we do as well, Paul, there's a perfect opportunity. So Paul writes books and as a musician himself, and so I mean, look at you're so knowledgeable and the local area as well. You know so many people, so you're going to bring a host of different skills and.
Hope so.
Connections to the real people show. So and you've recently as well. You've just had your books republished.
Yeah, the first one I ever got published was a book called The Magic Scales, which is way back, I think 2008, and that's out again now. Well, it came out just before Christmas, so that's a fantasy novel for kids. Well, kids of all ages, I would say. People, I guess, as young as maybe 9 and up to 90 can enjoy it. It's kind of about a young boy based in this area. People will recognise places from the area. Part of it's Burnbrae, part of it's Luss, part of it's Carman Hill. Then there's a different world altogether apart from that. But people might recognise a few of the places. And the wee boy loses his father, and it's about him trying to find his father. His father's disappeared mysteriously, and he's helped by this creature to find his father, who happens to be a wizard goldfish, you know, as you do. But yeah, Foods isn't normally a goldfish. He's been trapped in that form, which makes it difficult for him to do magic and to get around. And so he's got to overcome all this stuff and hopefully find his father. And he's got quite a challenging mum and a family and friends, and yeah, it's a whole mishmash of characters go on this quest. So, but that's it again, and I've been round a few schools already with it. Seems to get the imagination going. And I did about 100 schools way back in the late 2008, 2010 or so, all around Scotland and England as well.
Right.
But I've been to Bali with the books, and also like Frankfurt and different places for different festivals and things. So the books have took me on a wee journey, and I didn't anticipate. I've always done music in the area in bands like Prowler and Avalon and different things, but the books were a later life thing. So, but, you know.
And do you enjoy writing? Is it the process of it? Do you I know it's like writing a song as well. You know, you can't just sit down and write a song. Is it the same idea? You need to be in the right zone.
Probably do, yeah. Especially with songs, I have to be in the right zone. I mean, I've gone years sometimes without writing a song because I've just not got the kind of right mood for it somehow, or the right situation. But writing, you can do any day really. It might be about, it could be about different topics, but I can write about something most days.
Right.
And I've usually got a narration to do. I do the heritage films for the Clydesider as well. So I usually do a bit of narration, so I write that out and do a bit to camera. I usually get a phone call from Harvey Smart, your namesake,
right,
who does the photography, saying, "Paul, I need a narration in for such and such," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll get one done." So I'm doing a bit of that. But I also play a lot of gigs in the area, a lot of 70s music and 60s music, and have this roadie who's been with me since I was 15, a guy called John O'Hare, and he comes to a lot of the gigs as a roadie with me, and he's a great poet himself, actually, and writer. He makes guitars, does all sorts of stuff, but he comes and he'll sit at the break and he'll say, "Right, have you done a short story then?" And he's recently, in the last 6 months, he's been getting me to do these short stories, and I'll say, "Well, give me a topic," and he'll say something random. And then the next gig, I hand him my phone and he reads it, you know, during a set, and then he'll critique it at the break, you know. So I'm not just playing gigs; I'm doing writing at the same time.
Right.
So getting somebody else's opinion and different things. So but yeah, I enjoy both things really.
So what's your most recent book that you?
Well, I've written a book called Doll McDonald, which was with an agent my agent in London has been for about a year. We're trying to place that just now with a publisher. And that's quite an interesting book in that it's set in 1790 in Glasgow. And it's about a guy who had a plantation in Jamaica, which I'm afraid was the situation at the time. And he comes back, he had a kid out there, and he comes back with his child, who was to one of his slaves. But he treats her like a real loving child. He loves her to bits. And he brings her up in Scotland, and that actually happened. A few people did bring children back here at that time, and they were raised as their own. And this is based in Loch Lomond, but she becomes this very knowledgeable botanist who solves mysteries in Glasgow. But she's got all the hassle of dealing with people in Glasgow at that time. There was a big Irish influx at the time. There was tobacco and all that going on, and the tobacco lords were there. So you had all this three-way trade thing going on, plus you've got Doll, who is quite wealthy actually, but she works in Glasgow Uni and she solves all these different crimes. Right. Well. So there's a lot going on to get your head round there.
It sounds a lot different from the first book you were.
Yeah, and I'm doing short stories just now to kind of keep the brain going. Yep. But we'll see.
Yep, fab. And we had kind of touched on your music slightly there as well. I know we will be meeting some people that you've met through the years, through the music side of things. So what are you doing at the moment, music-wise?
I've kind of got back into rock a wee bit, and so I've been writing and recording some rock tracks really. I'm mostly a guitar player, so that's my thing really, and I'm trying to do some guitar stuff I haven't done since Powler or Avalon. Get back into the rock stuff, influenced I guess by bands like Rush and AC/DC and Whitesnake and Michael Schenker, a big hero of mine. Right. So they're trying to do a bit of that again, so it's just for fun, but it's a few tracks getting a bit of radio play already, which is nice.
That's fab, brilliant. And like your books, or where can people find you online again? Because you won't promote this yourself, so before I need to.
Okay, well the books are all, I've done quite a lot of books, they're all, if you just Google Paul Murdoch or Amazon Paul Murdoch, they're all on there really. They're in Waterstones some places as well, and in bookshops. You can get them all around the world really. If you order them or go to a bookshop and ask, or a library and ask, they'll get them in. Yep. But you can get them online, or if you go to my website, which is the best place to buy them, then that'd be lovely. The books are all on the website. You can just click it and pay, and it's posted out magically. Okay, Paul. So talking about your own music, you have a fairly recent song that you've just released and have a video for. Well, yeah, it's actually from a couple of years ago, but it's a song about dementia called Golden Rust, which I wrote about my mother. It was quite a sad song at the time, but a lot of people have to deal with that. And the song just came out, poured out in an afternoon, and I recorded it in about a day. And it's one that's got a lot of airplay because of the subject matter, I think. And it resonates for a lot of people who have maybe a mum or dad that's going through that just now. So yeah, it's called Golden Rust. You're broken, but I love you. So let me take your hand. We'll talk about the old days, and then we'll start again. I still see my reflection in everything you do. I try my best to listen, mother, and laugh along with you. This golden rust, it falls like rain. It's not the end, and there's still pain. This golden rust brings me down, but you're still young while I'm around. We dance around confusion and stare at coffee cups. this killing time together. It's killing both of us. One day I will remember these mornings in the sun, the moments that I treasured, mother. They won't come round again. This golden rust, it falls like rain. It's not the end, but there's still pain. This golden rust brings me down, but you're still you while I'm around. Taken from the ones you love, taken from a life you had, taken by a devil's curse. Your dreams are all you had. This golden rust. This golden rust brings me down, but you're still you while I'm around. Yeah, you're still you while I'm around. Ooh. So I want to say thanks very much to Jim Smart, and our next guest is actually going to be Masterchef Rohan Wadke. So now the reins have been passed over, I'm happy to introduce my first guest, Rohan Wadke, who is a chef extraordinaire. And we're going to talk about Rohan's career and how he got to where he is now. He's actually working in Cameron House just now, which is local to the area. So Rohan, how did it all start for you? How did your interest in food start in the very first place?
First of all, thank you very much for the invitation, Lumen TV. Okay, that's really appreciative from my side, and obviously for a culinary, not just for me, just for a culinary to put myself forward. So my journey started in India. Cooking was always a part of my family. My mom was a hairdresser and my dad was an engineer. So he's like, always whenever he used to come home, he used to cook for me and my brother till that time my mom came home. So we always watch my dad is cooking. So cooking means cooking. It's always kind of in the family, Okay. And then my mom is absolutely great cook, but obviously she never gets that time when we are a kid growing up in India. And then after that, when I went to the college, I realized I do have that interest, but might not have a full understanding of what expect when I went to the course. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
That's
what was the course in hospitality?
Hospitality management. So I done the hospitality management. It's a 4 years degree program. That's what we do it in India. Or you can join as apprentice. Either or two. You can join as apprentice or you can go as a 4 years culinary program, and then after the university program, then you go as a commie. So that's the first step. And so, as I said, the food was always in the family, and then the only, I think that I need that little bit spark, somebody, and then when I was in college that time, I realized a couple of the friends was always, everybody's career oriented, wanted to know what you're doing, what everybody's doing. So I put myself keen interest as a chef. But again, as I said, that time I was literally only knew is if I go to culinary school, I'm only going to do cooking, but apart from nothing else. But then Culinary Institute is not just about cooking, it's a fundamental of kitchen, a fundamental of any hotel, or fundamental of any operation, how it works.
Okay, so there's a business element to it.
Business element to it as well, yeah. So it will teach you health and safety, laws of the prospects of the countries, of the running the business and that kind of stuff. So this is how I can get into this hospitality.
Good, good. And then you came to London, was it originally? Or?
Glasgow. I came to Glasgow.
Okay.
That was a little bit, I would say, accidental thing happened. So I done my hospitality management in India, started working in Mumbai. So Mumbai is a mega busy place, never sleeps. I mean, if I give you example, Mumbai's local trains or local buses only stops only 1 hour in the night time, between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock, because that many population to go from one end to another end. So you can think about, you can going at 3 o'clock in the morning from Loch Lomond to Glasgow, you still get a train or a bus. No. It doesn't matter, it's Saturday, Sunday. It's not possible here though, yeah. So it's so busy place in Mumbai. So I started working in Mumbai that time and always had a dream to work in Mumbai because it's exposure. It's more similar like hustle bustle like London. So I started working there and then the first opportunity actually I got it in New Orleans in America. Yeah, so it was again as a youngster applying random loads of jobs, and I got interview, I got my offer letter, everything was ready, about to fly, and then this tornado called Katrina happened.
Really?
In New Orleans, so the whole city destroyed that time.
I remember that.
Yeah, I think most of us remember that one, and then I was little upset. And then after that, literally within that 6 months time, there are some chefs coming from UK. So I went for that interview, and then I had 4 options that time. I think London, Manchester, Birmingham and Glasgow. And I thought, you know what, this time I go to Glasgow. Believe me, I didn't know where I was landing
though. Less chance of a yeah.
No, but I think it was a good move because obviously everybody in Glasgow is very friendly city. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, I've been around UK, worked around UK. I never seen a city like Glasgow. It's definitely a friendly city. It's a very different vibe, you know.
Yeah. It's still a friendly city.
Yeah, no, it's still a friendly city, yes, 100%.
So then you got a job in Glasgow as a chef?
Yes, yeah.
And then how did you get on to Masterchef? How did that happen? Quite a big TV program here, obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, coming to the Masterchef journey it's quite a few of ups and downs in the careers, and wanted to make sure you're ready for it, and also wanted to make sure is you're not just cooking. That's not just the cooking program you're representing. It's a viewers program also. So there's a 50% of a chefing program and 50% of the viewing program. Okay. So I was actually working in Fort Valley College that time as a lecturer. Okay. So I was working in there, and then after working for almost 10-15 years in the industry, and then suddenly into lecturing, you're thinking, wait a minute, what's happening with me?
So you were lecturing?
Yeah, I was lecturing for a year.
So, okay, right.
And then I thought, wait a minute, I'm coming home at 4 o'clock in the evening. This is not right. This is not me. And then I had plenty of time in my hand that time, very frank to you. And I said, right, okay, I need to look into it, because I've always done more competitions, very high profile, something like Masterchef of the Year. It's one of the best competition any chef can do in UK, and they only choose top 20 chefs in UK. And it's one of the best one. I'll give you an example. Gordon Ramsay, when he was young, he done that one.
Yeah. So you'd watched it, seen it before the program.
Yeah.
You thought, I'd love to get on that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I only watched once or twice, but I remember a very good memory is for Masterchef is I watched that episode where they showcase the Noma restaurant. It's one of the best restaurant in Denmark. Oh, so they showed that. You might remember, yeah. So they showed that, and that kind of keen interest on me. So I said, if I might be entering there, I might have a chance to go there. So that's the time I decided, okay, I will apply it and we'll see. But before you actually apply, there are a couple of steps involved. It's not just you go straight away. Yeah. So there is obviously the first is application form. The second thing is you got a telephonic interview. They ask you to then, I had a Zoom interview where they ask you to 13-course tasting menu. You have to represent. Then they ask you why the flavors are matching, why you think this dish is going in a bowl, not in a spoon, or not in a big plate. So these kind of stuff.
And as you said, they were looking at your personality as well.
Yeah.
It's a TV program.
Yes.
So that happened. So you got on MasterChef, and how did you get on in the actual program?
So actually, as I said, the MasterChef program is basically to understanding of the camera pressure. That's, I mean, if I tell you today, if a good chef, a good experienced chef will forget when it's camera in action, forget how to make a toast.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's the
Does put you
pressure.
off a bit.
That's the camera.
Yes.
That's the camera pressure I'm
Yes,
talking
exactly.
about here. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the camera pressure you always have, because as a chef, you don't face cameras day to day. Okay, but then coming out from your comfort zone, which is your kitchen, you're coming out there, and then suddenly 30 people standing behind the camera say, right, okay, camera in action, and then Marcus wearing Monica Galletti and Greg looking into your eyes,
Yes.
wanted to eat, not wanted
No
to
pressure.
eat, yeah, no, exactly, and then that's really intensity stuff. That's where you will define yourself, where you actually stand. It's not just because of the camera, but as a career.
And did
as
you
a
like
chef.
them? Did you get on with the hosts?
Yes, it's really went. So I still remember. So basically, we had 6 contestants at first round. They distribute 3 and 3. So everybody goes inside, exit from another door. So you actually don't know what I'm gonna get, what kind of skill test I'm going to be. So it might be surprise, you know. But again, fortunate enough for my side, I mean, Marcus Waring praised me a lot in that show, saying that's one of the best skill tests he ever seen in the Masterchef, which is a great compliment for me. I think I done very well under the pressure there.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Good. And then I've also read somewhere that you worked in Downing Street.
Yes, 10 Downing Street. Yeah.
So what was your capacity there? Were you cooking for the Prime Minister? Or?
Yes. So when I was working, so after Hilton, when I came to Glasgow, I worked with Hilton Hotel for 5 years, then Grand Central, then moved to London. So there's a chef called Vivek Singh. He owns 4 restaurants in there. Okay. It's called Cinnamon Kitchen, Cinnamon Club, and another 4.
I
Two of them.
I've seen him on TV. Actually.
Yes, he very regular on the Saturday Kitchen and do his own
right.
programs and everything. So I got the opportunity to work for him. So that time, whenever they used to get Indian delegates to 10 Downing Streets, so whenever these Indian delegates or any country's prime minister or any finance minister comes in, they don't just come alone. They come with 20 or 30 delegates with them. So they said they would like to have a lunch, dinner and breakfast for them for a couple of months. And then my chef Vivek Singh said to me, would you like to go there? And I said, yeah, definitely. Why not? No, exactly.
Looks good in the CV.
Exactly. Yeah. So I said, yeah, I will definitely go. But again, the pressure is on. You know, it's a very high-profile game.
Just a bit.
Yes.
So did you meet any of the politicians at all?
I met George Osborne, was I think Vice Chancellor that time. So I met him personally. Then most of the Indian delegates. But again, these politicians, they are very time oriented people.
It's a busy place.
It's a very busy place. So it's 8 o'clock means 8 o'clock breakfast, 9 o'clock finished, next wrap up at 11, 12 o'clock they call for lunch, go away for lunch, you know.
So then I'm guessing you ended up back up in Scotland again.
Up in Scotland again, yeah.
And then obviously COVID hit. And
Yes, yeah.
Did you supply? I know a lot of restaurants started supplying meals you could have at home.
Yes.
Did you do that kind of thing?
Yeah, so after I moved back away from London, as I said, I went to lecturing for a year. Then came out from there and I got very good opportunities. So worked for Michelin star restaurants in Lake District. It's called Gilpin Hotel and Lake House. So worked there. Yeah, so I worked there and I opened a restaurant for them. It's called Gilpin Spice. Okay. So we had very first 6 months we had a Rosette. Rosette is one of the very high accolades, like a Michelin star. We got it straight away for that restaurant. It was a little bit of a gamble for the owner because right in the heart of the Lake District, you're talking about the Asian fusion restaurant, which is something risky.
Sounds
but he
good to me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it really went well. And then after that, I came back to Glasgow for family reasons. So I came back to Glasgow and then started thinking about it. What's my next move? And then very similar time, the COVID hit. So just before COVID, I started thinking. Working as a chef is a different journey because you're working for somebody. That means there is a protocol to follow. There might be a standardized recipe there, everything is there, you know, the marketing team is there.
You've got freedom only to a certain extent.
100%, yeah. And then when you are trying to go solo, I think it's a little bit of a risky move, but at the same time, it's a little bit of brave from your side because you wanted to know where you stand. Because especially nowadays, maybe old days, same thing, but nowadays I would say people would like to see end-to-end product properly. So from communication point of view, from start and then finishing product, that's very important. And that's where I thought I started this small business called Rohan's Kitchen. That's where I started it.
And really, like fast forwarding now to your position now, you've got some like a pop-up slot in Cameron House.
Yes.
And you've actually filled your slots. I think it's up to the end of
March. Yes.
And hopefully you're going to do this, you're going to add a few more slots.
Hopefully we are going to add more.
Which is good for local people to know, to come
Yes.
and get a chance to experience. I want to get into just a wee bit before we finish, but your favourite kind of food to cook. What I mean, I love Asian food and Indian food. But you put a different slant on it. So what, for example, would be your favourite dish for a main course? What would you cook if you were asked to cook your favourite dish?
I mean, there are so many favorites. You know, it's all about flavors on combination. So what menu I'm doing at the moment in Cameron House as a pop-up is, it's about the journey for me as a chef. So since beginning, learn couple of dishes from auntie, learn couple of dishes from my mom, couple of chefs around, couple of guys around me, you know. So you always pick up some of the things from here and there, and then you try to understand the concept of the food. You try to understand the balancing of flavor. That's what I call it. And then when you ask me about what particular dish, if were to say a very straightforward dish, I would love to have it every day maybe, is garlic butter with some langoustines. So just cut the langoustines into half under the salamanders. That's my very
simple but delicious.
Exactly. You know, the sweetness of langoustines and the garlic butter, it's just fantastic. But then coming back to my menu, which I'm doing it representing Southeast Asia. That's what we call that menu, because it's a journey, it's a flavor coming from Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka.
So really broad space.
Exactly. So that's why I just call this as a Southeast Asian journey rather than just a journey of India.
Yeah, good, yeah.
You know, and then one of my favorite dish from that menu is Old Delhi style butter chicken. It's where so that's one of the kind of my favorite. And then something called puchka, so it's semolina puffed rice balls. You fill with chickpeas and potato and serve with tamarind and mint water. So it's basically a palate cleanser.
Yeah, my mouth's watering already.
So, thank you.
Now this sounds fantastic, and thanks for coming in to talk about your journey.
Thank you.
Just to finish off with, people can hopefully go online and book an experience with Rohan, your menu at Cameron House locally. You'll probably find the details of that on the Cameron House website. And again, I just want to thank you for coming in. I know you're very busy, to talk to us about your journey, and I look forward to tasting your fantastic food.
No, thank you very much once again, guys. Thanks very much for inviting, and then I'm looking forward to see all the locals in Cameron House for my tasting menu.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Thanks,
cheers.
Ryan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So finally, I'd just like to thank my first guest, who was Jim Smart, talking about community cinema, and also Rohan Wadke, who is a chef at Cameron House, for coming in. Thanks for watching, folks, and we'll see you soon.